All right, cool. All right. What's everybody? What's up, everybody? Let me start over.
No
Let's
worries.
fuck that up. Yeah, it is nerve-wracking. Okay.
Nah, you're good, man.
What's up, everybody? Miggy Crypto here, Mig Toshi on X, and we are here at ETH Denver, day one, for the inaugural presentation of the Beyond Blocks podcast. And so I am your host, and today we have a special co-host from Not Another Bitcoin podcast. I'll let him introduce himself, the next man, the next legend.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? It's Double O Tats. You know, it's the Black James Bond with the tattoo gun. You know, we coming here from Not Another Bitcoin podcast, co-hosting with my guy Ken and my guy Miggy today. We got two great people right here now, and we about to give them a great interview and get some questions and learn about everything they got going on.
Heck yeah, so we'll let our guests introduce themselves, and then we'll get going. So go ahead and let everybody know who you are and where you're working with.
Yeah, my name's Dylan Grabowski. You can find me on Twitter, Grabowski Dylan. I've been working in the Neo ecosystem since 2018 as a content creator and developer onboarder, just really the mom of the ecosystem. If you need anything done, come find me. I'll help you get it done. And I'm also the host of the Smart Economy podcast.
Smart economy.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, GM, Bread here, bcBread out there on X. Developer circa 2017 now, you know, and been through it all, through all the metas, through all the crazy NFT runs and various bears, and you know, and just still out here building.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Appreciate you for coming to guest co-host. We're going to have an amazing episode. We're here at ETH Denver at the new Buildo City. As you can see behind us, we've got a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff going on. Brand new venue has been made outside of the old venue, and this is the first time they're getting to use it. And so we're going to see some interesting folks pop up behind us. And so I guess to kick things off, you know, what is your experience so far here at ETH Denver at this new Buildo City?
This is my 8th ETH Denver. The only one I missed was in 2018.
8.
So, been privy to all the ups and the downs, from the sport castle to the old place that smelled like cow shit.
Yeah.
And now we're at the new Biddle City. This is a super cool campus. There's like a CSU spur. So one of the local universities built this up. And yesterday at the Biddle-a-thon area, I was just walking around, and there's a lot of like classrooms and cool just like science laboratories in addition to this awesome facility, which is just a giant room with tons and tons of people just walking around. So
No,
I don't know.
No poo smell.
No poo smell. This is my first like hour here, so I haven't really gotten to understand the intricacies of the building yet. But
Oh yeah, dude, it's definitely a nicer venue. You know, I feel like for sure. You know, my dumbass parked way up at the old menu. You know,
Oh,
and I was
man.
like, well, it's free parking.
Get your
you know?
steps
so,
in.
like,
Hey,
grabbed
that's
my bag
honestly-
and like, you know, hiked over here, found it, and I was thinking like, you know, walking up, there's like, I don't see a ton of people. I wonder if everybody's getting lost trying to find the place. And then I waited in line for like 45 minutes once I came around the corner, you know what I mean? So it was, no, definitely dig it so far though. You know, definitely way more open, a lot more space, a lot more like room to breathe and kind of actually pull away for side convos and stuff, you know?
I'm not a fan of that line though. They made
Yeah.
us wait like 45 minutes for
Yeah,
two
bro.
tables to just walk through, and
That line almost wrecked us. We almost
Yeah,
missed
bro.
his first episode.
I made a new
Ken
friend,
almost
though.
didn't make it. Yeah,
I made
that's
a new
cool.
friend,
We
so.
ended up getting a new guest because of that, so that was awesome. And this is your first time here, right?
Yeah, my
so,
first
I
time.
mean, tell us about what you think. What's your experience so
Man,
far?
you
I know
know-
we're just a couple hours in, but
I'm taking it all in. I'm enjoying the experience. I'm meeting new people. And like, this is, last convention I've been to or conference I went to was a tattoo conference, you know what I mean?
Okay,
So
cool.
it's way different, you know what I mean? To have all these people in here talking about crypto and technology and stuff, I'm loving it, man, for sure.
yeah, we've got Double O Tats. He's been new to the crypto industry, but in the short period of time he's been involved, he's done some amazing things, made some big strides. Being sponsored by Bitcoin Cash and the community out there, he's been able to run this amazing tattoo campaign, been funded for several thousands of dollars to give out free Bitcoin Cash tattoos. I am one of the recipients as well of the Bitcoin Cash
Let's
tattoo.
go, dude.
And so again, for somebody new coming into the
yeah.
space, he's done some great work and he's learning a lot real fast. So man, Props to you on getting
Thanks,
involved and
man.
being here today.
Hey, I appreciate being here, man. I appreciate knowing y'all and y'all inviting me to these things and like to be able to learn more about crypto, to help me with my sponsorships, help me with everything I'm doing in life. It's a great feeling, man. I really appreciate it. For real.
I gotta ask you a question. So, what were you thinking about crypto before you got involved in this? Was it something that you just didn't pay attention to?
Honestly, the first time I got into crypto was because I needed to scam. somebody said, hey, you want to buy some of this? You got to send me crypto. And I was like, okay, what's crypto? He said, Bitcoin, and set me up a wallet and everything. I went to a Bitcoin ATM, got some, got the QR code and everything, got my wallet, set it and bought some illegal products.
Products that shall not be named.
Yeah, that's why we got privacy on chain now.
Yeah, sure.
So let's get started. Why don't you talk a little about, what you're doing here? What are some of your goals here at Denver? Like you said, you've been here 8 years in,
Yeah.
and I'm sure each year the goal probably changes a little bit.
Let's let Bread take this one first.
Oh shit, dude. I mean, this is my 6th year, I think,
Cool.
now up here, and it's dude, it's one of those things. It's people underestimate how important the the in real life meetups and chilling are. You
Tell
know
me
what I
about it.
mean?
Yeah.
Every year it's like I see all these homies that are like once a year, but we're on spaces together.
Right,
5 days a week.
Right,
and
right.
it's good to
But
like
it
actually
started here.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right, that
dude.
vibe.
And
Together, yeah.
and it's good to like kind of just like touch base with the people in the industry,
Right,
and
right.
like sit down and the main conference is great, but like every single year, for the past 6 years, I've gotten a great opportunity because of some side event, meeting somebody somewhere for just a beer quick, that leads to a conversation, and so really, I mean, like everybody here just needs, be an opportunist, and like
sure.
take advantage of every conversation, meet every single person here because everyone's building something dope.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've been traveling. Last year, I went to 10 different countries.
Yeah, you've been on the road.
Yeah.
I've been watching.
All the conferences you can think of. Like, super proud for this to be the local conference. So, what am I doing here this year? As with every year, I try to like give a vibe for what's it like on the ground here at Eat Denver.
Cool.
In years past, I've done podcast episodes, pre-recorded, recorded, live. This year, I'm actually walking around doing a fun walk and talk format.
Nice.
Where I have a gimbal camera on a selfie stick.
Cool.
And we just walk around amongst the crowds, running into homies and tell them to get out while I'm in the middle of an interview. But really just trying to like give the people at home a vibe of like what's happening here, because so many of us don't get the opportunity to travel. So many of us don't get the opportunity to go and have these types of conversations that you and I have got to have over the years, or get tuned into like a podcast community that you could be a part of. So what I really want to do is just like make it feel possible for somebody, first timer or OG, to watch something and feel like that they got to get a sense of what's going on and get excited about somebody that's building here, so that they can go follow them and learn from them. That's really like what my What's It All About is.
No, I love that. I mean, also kind of similar goal with what I've been doing with my content. And I think this year I'm going to try to be a little bit more intentional of using past content to promote future events, because normally I'm in the same, I do kind of the event stuff, what's going on, and then I showcase it later.
Yeah.
But same reason, I want to introduce this to people who may not be very interested, may not know much about crypto, who might just be a little curious, and show them, that there's things for them to participate in. Because I think a lot of people get lost in the, big question, like what is Bitcoin?
Right.
What is blockchain? What is this?
I want to shill Miggy for a second, because like you're like carrying the torch of like what the crypto vibe was in like 2017.
Sure.
Fly
Yeah,
your
look at
freak
'em.
flag, like be who you want to be. And as we move more and more into like the mainstream adoption of crypto, we start having like banks and TradFi on board into the space, and you start seeing more and more suit and tie. Like, I'm wearing a button-down shirt.
I'm trying to be.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
you're a gentleman and a scholar. Like, we would expect nothing less. But like, we're missing this element of like, this is a community that came from the grassroots up.
Yeah.
And we need to remember that like, this whole industry spurred from like people that wanted to make something better than the system. And when the system starts taking our technology and using it, we have to like remember the people who are going to be like proudly being who they are, the independents, the GDIs.
Right.
Yeah,
And, like, so I want to
appreciate
give you
that.
guys a shout out for like keeping
No.
it real and like sticking
Thanks.
to
Thank
like
you.
yourself.
And,
I'm not keeping it real though. I don't dress like this normally.
Yeah, but even for him pushing and working with the Bitcoin Cash community, same deal. He's helping to reinvigorate those core fundamental ideas. And for me, honestly, it's just I got started in Bitcoin so early on, back in 2011, and I did so much on my own. I was so unplugged from this community, from the events, from the atmosphere, for like 10 years. Everything I did was by myself, learned everything on my own, searched the internet, for all the information I could find, and then everything that I learned, I just taught it to others until finally, like in 2020, I went to my first conference in Miami. First time to get plugged in with the core community of people like yourselves who are frequenting the conferences, the scene, and getting involved. And so that for me kind of solidified my view of the space and those core fundamental values, because in that time period, that's what it was all about. We were here to, like we mentioned last podcast, here to promote a cashless, an e-cash cashless, P2P network where we work with each other and through each other and for each other. Not to say we couldn't work with the institutions and the banks, but the goal was to uplift the community, the builders, the ones that are here on the ground doing the stuff. Yeah,
right.
because we have the numbers, in numbers there's strength. And so it is kind of sad to see how much of that has changed over there. Like you said, with all these big institutions coming in, a lot of it has become more money driven, more profit driven. And not to say, it's not a bad thing to make money and want to make money, but we can't forget why Bitcoin or blockchain was built. And regardless of the things that are coming out about Bitcoin and all these things, the fundamentals are still there. Built for the community, built by the community, and there's empowerment in working through the community.
Totally.
And so I guess on that topic, maybe we could talk about what are some things that you guys are doing in that aspect that, is community driven for y'all.
I mean, I'll take that one, dude. I mean, I've been building out over the past couple of years, right? Is the Cubes platform that is essentially, like, at its core, the 6 degrees of separation verified on chain.
That's funny. We just talked about that in the last podcast.
Yeah, man. And it's becoming more and more important now. In everything's going agentic, right? Everything's AI agents and whatnot. And we're gonna get to a point where, I'm only taking phone calls with essentially warm intros from people, homies that are like, oh, yo, my boy is actually a dev. Like, you should chat with him. And it's like, oh, well, if he's a friend of yours, he's a friend of mine, and that speaks so much, more true to that trust layer than just a retina scan or just a, trust me, bro mentality, right? That we've been operating on for years now, and being able to verify and see like, yo, who launched that agent that's selling services out here, you know, and like, how does that agent connected to so-and-so and so-and-so, and I think that's going to become super, super important, and it all focuses around that whole community aspect, start to identify how these communities overlap, I mean, I've got like 200 plus NFTs sitting in my hidden folder, each one is a community, and so it's like, where's the overlaps, because some of those people are still around, I'm not the only crazy person collecting dead NFTs, right?
The meta is going to make a comeback eventually, right? They're on their way back, I swear.
Oh, sure, next cycle. next cycle, right.
Man, poor NFT holders, like, that's been rough. I mean, like, what am I doing? Like, we run a validator node in a competing ecosystem to EVM land, and so we want to use a lot of these funds and give back to developers who are onboarding into crypto for the first time. A couple years ago, I went on a cross-country university tour, and we gave $3,000-$4,000 grants out to students who were building products.
That's
so
cool.
we want to empower people who've never really built in crypto before. We want to empower them by giving them access to funds and just saying, like, here's a grant, go build wildly.
Awesome.
And like, those projects didn't really make it, but like, we gave students an opportunity, and like, that's what I think being a steward of validator node income is giving people an opportunity to FAFO. And like, that's really what we want to do. And so beyond like investing into people who want to build something, like I mentioned earlier, I just want to give a voice to all the people who are here. So like, that's really what it's all about here, is like giving you the first time you've seen somebody, giving you their first interview, and then you wanting to go be a part of their community. That's kind of like what is my goal here at eDenver this year.
That's awesome. And on the topic of grants, we have on the giving end of it, filling them out, getting people involved. Well, Double O has been exceptional at receiving these grants from Bitcoin Cash, heavily getting involved with community. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Your own experience, because again, as we mentioned, you're new to the space. You're just now learning about it, but in the short time period, you made some tremendous strides for the Bitcoin Cash community. Shout out to them for being able to sponsor these things. But yeah, as a grantee receiver, tell us what you've been doing, man, and what you've been working on.
Okay, well, first I'm gonna tell you how it all started. You know what I'm saying? First I'm gonna give a shout out to Callisti Cash because he came to to Ken's Bitcoin conference after party, and I was doing tattoos there. I was doing a tattoo party at the after party, and Callisti, the creator of the Celine wallet, the Bitcoin Cash wallet, he seen me doing tattoos, and he noticed that I didn't have a Bitcoin Cash QR code on the wall to tip. So he was like, if you put a Bitcoin Cash QR code up, I'll tip you. And I pulled around my phone, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, here, what's up, man? You know? Yeah, he tipped me $20 worth of Bitcoin Cash. And honestly, I didn't think nothing of it. It didn't cross my mind until the next day when I woke up, the value of that $20 had increased.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, what's going on? I got to ask him questions, and then one thing led to the next. Ken had been talking to Steve Thurman, shout out to Steve Thurman. He was talking to Steve Thurman about, me doing tattoos and promoting other businesses. And Steve Thurman said, hey, well, I heard about him doing tattoo, and Callisti told me, so how about I offer him some money to do Bitcoin Cash tattoos? And I was like, sure, why not? You know what I mean? Of course. Like,
shout out cash stamps, baby.
Yeah. And pretty much the more I've been doing the tattoos and learning about the economy, market, about, crypto in general as a whole, I'm learning how, we need a lot of marketing more than anything. We've been developing a lot of, developers and infrastructure and, technological aspects, but we're missing the true marketing engine that will, make crypto mainstream for the world,
Absolutely.
And my job, my position, I feel very confident that me making these walking, talking crypto billboards, that are permanent on people, they like these, a billboard might cost you $1,500 to $15,000 a month, you know what I'm saying? But you pay me one time and you can got a permanent walking, talking billboard that's going to onboard somebody for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's been the vibe and the objective and initiative for, the Bitcoin Cash sponsorship or my ambassadorhood for Bitcoin Cash. And I'm loving it, man. I'm really enjoying everything that's coming with it, the knowledge and everything, meeting guys like you guys, sure, this is all love.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he's doing more than that too. I mean, you've done what? You said about 70 tattoos so far? So there's 70 people out there, myself included, who are sporting a Bitcoin Cash tattoo that they received for free because the community funded it. And then also on top of that, he's been involved with creating each tattoo as a certificate and as an NFT. So each tattoo is its own certificate NFT that if any other artist wants to use that art, they could buy the NFT to get permission to use that art. So again, coming from no crypto knowledge, zero, to now 70 tattoos in, thousands of dollars worth of grant money given, really good funding from the community, no central entity. Going boots on the ground with no other direction other than, hey, here's money, go after it.
Wait a minute. NFTs on Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah, okay. So each tattoo I do, there's a certificate of authenticity.
Okay.
And then I mint that certificate of authenticity on the blockchain, on a Cash Token Studio.
Okay.
So a Bitcoin Cash Studio. And pretty much I mint every tattoo that I've done as an NFT.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's all under the umbrella of the Bitcoin Cash community, the funding and stuff. So he's been able to keep it all under that, and looking for opportunities for other blockchains. It's just this was the first community that reached out and was like, hey, we'll fund you to do what we do best, build community, get involved. Again, that guerrilla marketing tactics we spoke about on our last podcast, very effective. Boots on ground, get with people, have some fun, do some cool stuff. Tattoos.
That's probably why Bitcoin Cash has done better than Bitcoin.
Hey, listen.
I mean, it's been strong. Just like we said before,
right.
I got the free Roger tattoo, and a week or so later, Roger was free, baby.
For sure. But yeah, I've noticed more than anything that the way I've been interacting with people with these tattoos and stuff, I've learned so much, and being able to teach other people is so powerful because so many people, they have no idea what Bitcoin is, where it comes from. They have no physical asset to correlate it to, like they do with dollars and cash.
Totally.
So I come through and bridge. I'm a bridge information to people, you know, and it makes them a permanent user. You know what I mean? Forever.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I mean, education starts with curiosity, you know? I
Exactly.
mean, so, like, yeah, even people just seeing a tattoo, they go, the hell is that?
Exactly.
You know, and they at least look it up, and it's like, that's step one, you know? And, like,
Exactly.
if they might be like, oh, I heard about that, it's a scam, right? And, you know, whatever. But,
Yeah.
like, ultimately, they might take the next step to find out it's not a scam. And now they're, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
curious. They start getting into it, start buying it, you know? And that's how we grow this whole community.
I think
Exactly.
that's everybody's first like entrance into crypto is like that's a scam.
Yeah, right.
And then they learn,
Yeah.
oh shit, it wasn't a scam.
Right.
Why did I ignore this for the past 3 years?
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah.
They heard somebody got scammed, but it's like, didn't you hear somebody get scammed using $1 too?
Right?
You didn't stop using dollars.
Right.
Like, you know, so
Exactly.
yeah, that's the thing about it.
Absolutely. And so right now is going to be a perfect time. We're going to take a short little break to introduce our sponsor, Got Soul Pay, Commerce Meets Currency, empowering merchants. Check them out. And then 1, 2, little second. And then, all right, we're back in the convo, back in the conference, and talking more crypto stuff. And so, again, this is day one at Denver. I am pretty happy with what I see. Looks like people finally got through the line, and it's exciting. I'm happy to be here. Fresh everything, brand new stuff. Even the floors are shiny.
Fresh arena smell.
Yeah. So I guess let's talk a little bit more about what you guys are working on. You know, what's something that is exciting that you know you want to talk about, or maybe something coming up that you just have to let everybody know about.
Well, I know that I'm about to mention an event that shall not be mentioned here, but I was at ETH Boulder last weekend, which was kind of like a local response to how big ETH Denver has gotten. And I'm probably just going to be teeing Brett up to talk about this, honestly. The overwhelming meta from that 3-day event was AI. And it wasn't even like crypto devs trying to pivot into AI. It was the fact that this tool has become so powerful, it's impossible for the builders on the cutting edge to ignore.
Yeah.
And so this was something that everybody was talking about, Claude bots, setting up environments, deploying AI to help them build out their tooling. So what am I excited about at ETH Denver, ETH Boulder, is the state of AI. And really, it's not because like we're pivoting because crypto's dead. It's because anybody who's on the innovation and the cutting edge right now needs to be using AI. It's like, why?
Yeah, 100%, dude. Well, and it's like, you know, we sometimes forget it. It's moving so fast, and we're in this, you know, CT, Web3, blockchain kind of echoey chamber, right? You know, it's not as small as it once was, you know, but the way AI is advancing right now, I mean, my parents still call it Chat BT. You know what I mean? And
I call it that.
yeah,
Shout
that's
out to
all,
parents.
That's all they think that all of AI is, you know? And it's like, I've got like 4 or 5 different agents running right now trading Polymarket, you know what I mean? It's like there's so much advancement happening right now in AI that it's even being as close as we are, it's almost impossible to keep up.
Yeah.
You know, but I think what's really powerful now is people are starting to connect the dots and realize how important blockchain is for AI. You know, not necessarily to kind of like merge the two on some hype train and launch a token, you know what I mean? But like actually having provable identity, you know, like sovereign data, you know, and like even the data pipelines, you know, source to bot, you know, I mean, is going to be so important to start maintaining and keeping control, or not control, but track of, you know, and being able to trace these things to their source. And realistically, with AI, the only way to do that's blockchain.
I mean, like the whole meta behind crypto is not your keys, not your coin, and there's this whole learning curve that we have to go with teaching people about protecting their seed phrase, protecting their private keys. Isn't AI just that, but like 10 times?
You know, it's funny because as soon as like the whole vibe code movement happened, right? I mean, it's like I grew up, you know, Stack Overflow. Shout out Stack Overflow if you're still around. You know, before there was AI assistance built into your IDEs and stuff. You know, and like now this whole vibe coding thing. You know, you've got people that are just full sending. You know, which is like dope. Like I encourage the hell out of turn knobs, hit buttons. You know, like that's how I learn things. You know, but like safely, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
You know, there's a lot of people that just aren't aware enough, and they just go, yeah, make an app and full send it, you know? And it's like, I've seen keys in like example files. I've seen them like, you know, just in the inspector on the side. You know, I mean, there's like certain things that
There's so many vulnerable points.
so many, dude, you know? And so it's funny though now that we have so many people vibe coding. I mean, there's the explosion of products in the space. You know, it's like I can't even tell you how many different bot type things there are, you know, if we're still calling it that this week, you know what I mean? But like, you know, from anywhere from only Molt, you know, that got launched to Molt Book.
Yeah,
you
Molt
know?
Book, I heard about that.
You know,
Yeah, that was
there's
crazy.
just, I mean, people are just launching products, and that's ultimately kind of like one of the things that our industry has always had a problem with. You know, it's
Yes.
like either DeFi or nothing, you know, and now it's like, oh, well, here's all these good use cases for on-chain mechanics, you know, and AI, and kind of wrapping it all into one and just trial by fire, you know.
Right.
I like to call it, you know, ready, fire, aim type mentality.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm
Fire
paying
aim?
attention.
Yeah.
My bad.
I remember in like 2017 when I first got onboarded, we were all like, how do we get the first billion people in the world using crypto?
Yeah,
And like
that's
now,
every year that's a company.
now I'm like, the first billion wallets are mostly going to be AI agents.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it's, I mean, and it's easy
Dang.
too with things like, I mean, teams out there like, you know, Crossmint and Privy, and, you know, I mean,
Right.
where you can just have an agent go and just, yeah, spin up, create your own wallet server side, and now like, here's $1 USDC, go have fun with 402s, do whatever you want,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's just getting so easy now that, I mean, it's only a matter of time before somebody hits it like, you know, the next Flappy Bird type story, you know,
Right.
where it was like, yeah, I knew nothing, and I just launched this app, and I was a millionaire overnight,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, dope, good for you, bro. You know?
Yeah, and I'm still kind of on the fence about all that because, like you said, it's nice to have the access, you know, of the vibe coding, being able to, hey, you know, you don't necessarily have to be a developer to do this, but at the same time, I think it kind of creates a situation where anybody feels like they could do it, and so, like you said, they're just like, hey, you know what? Let me just create this thing, put it out, and leave out a lot of things that need to be addressed, like you said, like security, vulnerable issues. Because what it reminds me of, it's almost the exact same thing that happened with NFTs
Yep.
back in 2020, 2021. It was hard to make an NFT collection. Forget a generative collection. You
Right.
had to be a developer to create a PFP generative collection.
Yeah.
Right.
You had to code, you had to write, you had to script, you had to redo it, you had to fix
Yep.
it, you know, and that made those collections so much more special. They were very valuable. A lot of money came into the NFT scene those years. That was the NFT boom.
Yep.
But what happened? People started developing plug and play generative collections, plug and play NFTs. Then it got to the point where, hey, anybody can make an NFT.
Right.
And because anybody can make an NFT, everybody made an NFT.
Yep.
And it's like, just because you can doesn't mean you probably
Right,
should.
right.
Oh yeah.
And so, what did we see next? The destruction of the NFT craze. You know, the pitfall. It went from boom to bust within a 4-year span. Companies got demolished. Millions of dollars just disappeared. Funding just, thin air.
Yep.
And all because for me was that instance where it made it so easy anybody, so easy a caveman could do
Totally.
it. So a lot of cavemen did do it. Not to hate on anybody, love that they could do it, but there needs to be some kind of middle ground.
I would actually argue that like a lot of the reason why there's a lot of malaise and just like negativity in the industry right now is because of pumped.fun.
Yes, exactly.
Because
Yep.
Pump.Fun made it super possible to create a shitcoin, a token,
Yes.
what have you. And now when you go and you talk to like the mainstream user, my mom and my dad, my sister, who hate whenever I talk about crypto, now they have to worry about 30 million tokens that they have to sift through.
Yes.
And 99.99% of every token on CoinGecko is just garbage.
Yeah.
So taking away this kind of like artisanal skill of creating something on chain and creating a launch pad to just make X amount of tokens, X amount of NFTs, it really took away from the valor that this industry had. And I think that like we have years of clawing our way out of the hole that we dug ourselves into because of Pump Fun.
Yes.
I do not like Pump Fun.
No, same. I think they did to meme coins what the NFT plug and play did for NFTs.
Dude, I
they
would
killed
even-
it, destroyed it.
I would even go as far as saying the perception of the industry.
yeah.
Because anybody
it
that
put
has
us backwards.
anybody who has a negative story about tokens is probably going to have one about meme coins. Like, look at what Trump did before he even got elected. He launched a token that is down only. This is the perception that the majority of people in America have of crypto. And
No,
it's,
we had countries rug pull.
oh my God, R.I.P. Libra coin.
yeah, dude.
Malay.
Countries.
I'm gonna remember
rug
that
pull.
one.
They're like, oh yeah, this is so easy, we could do it. It's like, is it really good idea for your country to build a token on this plug and play? But
I mean, I would say the only difference with AI though now is that like with the tokens, you're limited to a token standard. You know, it is an ERC20 or an SPL20 or and like that's you can only do so much with it. You know, same thing with NFTs. You know, during that boom, they were all 721s. You know, and then 1155s came out, and then there was some other novel things that people were just spinning up that never really caught traction. But with AI, right now, yeah, 100% agree, dude. It's like it's a million Honda Civics, bro, and you're all lined up to race, you know, and they're all just like flooring it dead even, you know. It's what are you gonna do with your agent that makes it faster, that makes it better than all of the other ones, you know? Because like that's how you're gonna win the race, you know. And giving everybody options to just essentially no code, low code, spin up these agents, right? It's like great, congratulations, here's your stock Civic, you know. And it's like you're not gonna win any races, bro. You're just not, you know. Like you'll tie a bunch. Right, but like you're not gonna win. You know, you have to go in and do some things. You know, make it your own, make it powerful, make it specific. You know, and like that's who's gonna win some of the AI agent races. You know, these creators that are really leaning into that aspect and training these niche agents to do cool things.
I'm on the fence, and I don't know if like I have the answer or not yet. But you've been faffling with AI for about a year now. Are we at a point like where if you're not learning what AI is? 4 years, excuse me. Are we? But have we hit the inflection point where, like, no matter what industry you're in, if you're not learning AI and learning how to use these tools, you will be left behind? Or do we still have a little bit of time left?
We've got time. I mean, like the jobs, like, you know, if right now, if you're, you know, tuning into this pod or watching it from your cubicle in an office while you answer phones, like, you might want to start packing your things. You know what I mean? Like, those jobs are going to go away first, you know? But I mean, you, like you were saying, dude, you still need developers as, like, oversight. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to just, like, let your entire company just, let the bots take care of it. I'm going on vacation. You know, like, that's crazy. You know? It's that crazy. You know what I mean? And ultimately to, like... the jobs are going to slowly get replaced, you know, but it's going to take, I mean, 2 years to 5 years, you know, and then there's always going to be jobs that, like, I'd much rather sit down and talk with a real BD guy, you know, and pitch him a project over a beer than to sit next to a robot, you know what I mean, at some weird New York bar that just started apparently or something, you know, like, not, you know, you still need humans in the loop, you know, I will always trust a human over a robot.
Well, humans should always be the ones making the decisions, and AI should be there as a tool or method to get, you know, things done in a faster way, but never should trump, you know, the human experience part of it. And that's for me, like, I don't hate vibe coding, but I just don't like what's happening in the sense. It's like, anybody can vibe code. It's like, let me just trust this app that this guy who has no coding experience was able to type in a prompt into a vibe code and generate this thing. Yeah, it might work, but now you give me a dev, a coder, and their vibe coding, I will take that because they know how to properly use that tool based on their experience and what they have. And that's the thing too, I think people expect that the extrapolated value of some of this stuff is by the experience these people attain by spending years learning this stuff. You know, that's why people go to school. That's why you get an education.
Totally.
That's why a doctorate is, you know, accumulated in a matter of years. You know, like again, I've been in this space for 15 years, so it's like, you know, I've been active and participant. That's doctorate level stuff, and that's what's gotten me so far in this industry because I'm not a developer, not a coder, but the experience that I've been able to leverage it, and that is valuable. And that's where I find in this the coders that are vibe coding. Yes, let me find them and hire them because they're going to be able to do this stuff fast, and it's going to be good, and you know they'll be able to address any issues, you know, correct things or whatever. They're not just going to be like, all right, plug and play, it's done, cool. Like you said, out in the world.
Well, the goal is to build an agent that can replace yourself, like replace your own job.
Right.
You know, that's the goal. Is that like if you do something better than anybody else, well, that means you can build an agent that can do it better than any other agent. So like, get going. You know, start building.
Well, I don't know if I want like someone replacing, like an agent replacing me as a creative. I feel like being a creative is the one last bastion of freedom that we will have as a job in 20 years.
Yeah,
it's like tattoo artists. Like AI can't do tattoos for sure. Like, but AI does help me with my tattoos that I do for sure. I look at it like a stencil. A tattoo artist with no stencil is like a tattoo artist with no AI. You know what I'm saying? So that stencil would be like the AI, and I can do tattoos without a stencil, but nonetheless, with that stencil, it's going to be a whole lot better.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why would I want to get a tattoo from a guy who has no tattoo experience, but he's enabled by some kind of ability to like,
exactly.
I can just do this. Like, no, I want somebody who's experience on hands, knows how to work, because if something goes wrong, that shit permanent.
Exactly.
What about Neuralink though, bro? I mean, you can get that chip in your brain. It's like,
Won't be happening. Won't be happening.
And so let me get back to you, Double O. Like, let's ask you, like, so you said, talked about your experience here and the things you're working on. What is the goal for you coming to ETH Denver? What are you here to achieve? What's something that you want to, when you leave here, this is what I've done.
Okay, well.
I mean, other than some awesome tattoos.
Yeah, of course, we're going to do some tattoos, but it's important for me to, continue to spread the word of Bitcoin Cash, spread adoption and awareness. I learned that, the cryptocurrency industry was created and it has gone to become this big without true culture from the, you know what I mean? Like I look at it like, okay, a bunch of computer geeks created this stuff and they pushed it up to a value that's, like a tremendous value, 125,000. That was a great value.
Hey, boom, baby.
If some computer geeks can do this, just imagine what the culture can do. You know what I mean? The culture leads everything in marketing. We're the trendsetters. So that being said, let's get the culture behind this and then watch what's going to happen to the world.
Yeah, and I've been saying this recently, and a big goal of mine this year is to really focus on getting back to the basics, getting back to the core, because I think a lot of people get caught up, like you were saying, right now the trend is AI. Everybody's looking towards the future, everybody's building towards the future, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but in this industry specifically, again, in my 15 years that I've been here, we have stuff that works now. We have stuff that people can use today who don't know much about crypto. We have things that we could onboard people with that are functional, that make sense, and have an incentive. And I think that's a big problem is people are losing the why. They're losing the incentive. Right now, there's really no reason to use crypto for the everyday user.
Yeah. Other countries where they don't have access to dollars, access to other currencies, they're forced to use cryptocurrency, and that's a blessing to them. But for us, it's more like, hold on, we got to learn something to use some money to spend this in places that we don't even have. We can't spend it anywhere for real. Right. So why are we doing all this process to learn it, and we're not even going to be able to do it? It might not even be in our generation. Yep. So that's not mindset people be having.
Yeah, and so my goal again is to kind of pull people back, even the projects that are doing things like, get back to the basics of what they're building, what they're offering, because again, there's a lot of stuff that's fundamental, that's already here, that exists, that's core, that we could use today, that makes sense. And for new people, like, okay, now I understand the reason why I would use this product, service, or whatever.
Absolutely.
Because even like, Square did the launch, you could do Bitcoin payments and whatever, which is great. Zero fees, love that. But the problem is, why should I go buy Bitcoin to spend Bitcoin? I'm going to lose money in the fee transactions alone because nobody's offering discounts as a merchant. Like, hey, I'm accepting Bitcoin. If you use it, I'll give you 8% off.
You're also going to have to pay taxes on the Bitcoin that you use to buy things if you had a gain.
Yep, and which shout out to DashPay, because that's one thing that they've done. They've given people a reason to use Dash through their app because they have a gift card program that creates that incentive. Every gift card participant offers 3 to 7% discount. So if you buy Dash and you go to their app and you spend it through their gift card program, you're going to get a little discount. So again, that's a perfect reason. Hey, I don't know anything about it. I can buy this. I can spend it at Chipotle and get Starbucks. And if it's somewhere that I frequent all the time, that's a guaranteed discount that I have.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, and it's funny because you say, back to basics, and it's like one of those things that, originally blockchain, like as a tech, like before all the cryptocurrencies and all of this stuff, it was like just authenticity. Yep. It was shipping and receiving, supply chain stuff, and putting it on chain was like, oh, here's time and date stamps proving this happened at this, whatever. And it's just proof, like proof, and that's really like something that like, especially like, shout out to the Zyber team that's built out a whole system of proof, that's really like, that's the whole point. Let's get back to basics and verify the actions of different agents or different humans, doing things, launching contracts, launching entire projects, and let's just get back to the point of like blockchain is the number one source of proof and authenticity. And like that's how we should be looking at it, not trying to see like how many different crazy ways can we extract from various communities by this weird token,
Proof like, as in not in God we trust, in code we trust.
In code we trust.
See, I like to think of this, in God we trust, in code we verify.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of trustlessness, is that I don't have to trust you to do what you say because I know as long as what we participate in works, the code will make we can verify on chain. It's either going to happen because you're doing it, or it's not going to happen because you're not.
That's a fantastic phrase.
Yeah, I love it. In God we trust, in code we verify, or blockchain we verify. And that's again, like you said, that's the fundamental basis of getting back to how we did. You know, the blockchain was there to create accountability,
Yep.
to create the ability to publicly inform people, you know. But accountability is one of the biggest things that's the problem in the world. You know, people talk about fixing the money, fixing the world, but it's like the money's never the problem.
Right.
It was the people behind the money, the lack of accountability,
Right.
the inability to be like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
if you mess up,
Right.
there's consequences for you.
Right,
Because
yeah.
it's like, right now people mess up, there really ain't many consequences. They just keep going and going and going. But
Yeah,
with
yeah.
blockchain, we can have verifiability, we can have accountability.
Yeah.
Yep,
And so
exactly.
I guess, you know, as we wrap things up here, appreciate y'all for being here. And just let me make note too on the podcast, the reason why I'm on my phone is because I have guests coming in and out and I'm trying to coordinate and I don't have a table to put my phone on, so it's out of view. So that I swear I'm not just like haphazardly texting, I'm coordinating our guests' flow.
I thought you were going through our question list.
No, I'm just trying to keep up with everybody that,
I
especially
thought
this
you were
hour,
just
because we
checking
got
tweets, bro. Just,
It's like, who's tweeting about the podcast today? But yeah, I would guess let's close this out. We'll have you guys tell us your websites, your socials, that everybody can find you, and then let's hit them with the 1 minute pitch, you know, of your project or what you're doing here.
Yeah,
Just remind everybody.
I'm out there grinding every day on Twitter. So the #1 spot to find me is at Grabowski Dylan at Twitter. I'm doing interviews there. I'm releasing articles there, protocol agnostic stuff about the ecosystem that I'm in. And really, that's just kind of like the central source of truth for how you can find the insights from somebody who's been surviving in crypto like a cockroach since 2017.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, no, yeah, dude, I spend chronically on Twitter, you know, or X, or, you know, whatever you want to call it now, right? At bcBread.
Forever Twitter.
You know,
Forever.
and but no, I mean, like, it's funny because I've hit this point where, like, after building for so many years in the space, I'm kind of like, I get to build with the Zyber team, right, that are doing a lot of stuff and infrastructure for the agentic economy that's coming up, and all of these agents, providing verified tools, you know, like Proof, that developers can just plug and play instead of just blind launching agents, you know, like actually plug into an SDK and some Rails to be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but at least it's safe, you know, and then you can full send some stuff and really, you know, FAFO in the industry. You know, and it's funny because it overlaps with, you know, what I've built with Cubes, which is my own project that is really verifying humanity, you know, via who knows who and how, right? Because I think ultimately at the end of the day, like, I'm going to take a meeting with a friend of a friend over some random DM any
time.
day, you know, and that builds really, I mean, that's how you verify trust between parties, and whether it's humans or agents, you know, but it's nice that I get to kind of have my hands in both buckets right now with, like, the agents and verification, and like, yeah, but humans too, bro, you know, like, humans are important too. So yeah, dude, that's cubes.xyz, zyber.inc, you know, definitely check out these projects because they're both hitting hard this year.
And then shout out again for Double O for joining this. Shout out to the Bitcoin Cash community.
Yeah.
You know, our sponsors, Got SoPay, we got Blockchain Legal Institute, Join Fios here with us as well. A lot of great names. NFT the movie, of course, Circus is in town. And so again, why don't you hit them with your tidbit? Let's get website, socials, and do your 1 minute pitch.
Okay. Well, you know who it is. It's Double O Tats, the Black James Bond with the tattoo gun, sponsored by Bitcoin Cash. We putting the end to the dollar. We doing Bitcoin Cash tattoos, creating walking, talking Bitcoin Cash billboards that's gonna be onboarding people for the future. From not now, forever. That being said, you can find me on X, Twitter at 00TATTS or Double O Tats with a $. Instagram is don't judge my Instagram. It's double with a D. Double as in like you spell bubble, but with a D. You know,
DEL.
OOENT. And yeah, Twitter, the Double O Tats Experience. Yeah, if you type in Double O Tats, you're gonna find me. Period.
And don't forget to check out Not Another Bitcoin podcast.
For sure.
And this is the Beyond Blocks podcast. Consider it the layer 2 of Not Another Bitcoin podcast.
Yeah.
We'll be here doing it again. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining. Make sure you like, comment, and share, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Appreciate y'all.